Welcome to Buffalo After Dark, everybody. It's Buffalo's original, uncensored, and unafraid sports show. Are you still up? You're watching the 150th episode of Buffalo After Dark. Welcome aboard Buffalo After Dark, everybody. It is Wednesday night, November 1st. And of course, we hit a little milestone on this show today. So let's see, 4 seasons in, and this is officially episode number 150.
That is a hell of an accomplishment.
Yes, it really is.
Yes, it is, because one, you got to deal with our crazy asses for all this time. Two, you got to hear our uncensored takes of everything, and you get to see a little bit of us. And then on the flip side, there's a lot of podcasts that don't even last that long.
No, they don't. And you know what? I gotta say, we have to give ourselves a pat in the back for having this longevity. But most importantly, we want to thank the fans for listening to us for all these years. And without you guys, none of this would happen. So Thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had a lot of good people here on the way. Of course, I know with me, Bob, co-creating. I know, Rob, you've been with us through some of the seasons, and I know Adam's been with us. Andy joins us when he can, and then we've had previous co-hosts. I know we had we had Vinny in season 1. Matt was with us for first couple seasons, and then we also Julian was part of a season with us. So
yeah,
I mean, yep. So the good thing is, I mean, with everybody we've had, everyone's been a part of it. Of course, everyone that follows us is a part of it. So as Bobby said, we appreciate you day in and day out following what we do, and we like hanging out and giving you our uncensored takes. And the good thing is, no one pays us to say what we say. So
then that's why we're small and independent, boys.
Damn right.
No agenda. It's you get what you get.
Yep. But most importantly, though, I also just want to say happy Halloween for those who celebrate out there, because I know yesterday people were going crazy with trick-or-treating and scary movies and jack-o'-lanterns and all that fun stuff. And, I just want to give my thoughts out there for you guys, for those who celebrate Halloween. So if you had a good holiday, tell us what you guys did, and that would be fun. What did you guys do for Halloween?
Yep. Absolutely. So, of course, chat's up live on Facebook, and of course, we will be on Spotify after the show. But if you want to call in and give us any well wishes, talk any sports with us, the number 92920560099, and we're going to keep it kind of a lighthearted show tonight. Obviously, we're only a day away from being in Cincinnati, which that's going to be one of the next things. Philadelphia Flyers just scored, so they just tied it up at 2-2, and we're going to dive into football first. We'll talk about hockey afterwards, because there was some big news earlier during the week. And then we're going to give you some thoughts on what's coming up for Road to 32 as we go into tomorrow. So the first big thing, it was the trade deadline for the NFL, and the Bills actually were pretty active. So 2 major things ended up happening on Thursday. The first was that the Bills actually decided to sign free agent Leonard Fournette, and he was previously a running back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he basically wanted out after Brady retired. So he's now a depth piece as one of our running backs, which is good. He's only 28. He still has a lot left in the tank. And then even on top of that, bigger news that we had later in the day, right around 3:58 p.m., the Green Bay Packers decided to trade cornerback Rasul Douglas to the Bills, and we basically gave them nothing. So let's dive into that. But first, I got to say, Fournette, great addition, but Douglas, he's about as good as we could have found on the trade block. And the funny thing is we gave up absolutely nothing. It was pretty much a compensation pick from Chicago.
Yeah, for Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah.
But you know what? I will say, from retrospective, for one, I love the Fournette signing because, Damian Harris is going on IR, and that's ultimately why the Bills brought him in, ultimately. but he's also a good veteran presence to have if you're a young guy like James Cook, because you can't just always leech on Latavius Murray. So I'm glad that they were able to bring in another running back that could be a nice presence for him and, get some like tips in what to do in the NFL and whatnot, because he's a second-year player. So I think that it's only going to help him with his development as he gets better throughout his career. So I love it that they brought in Leonard Fournette, and I think he's going to play on Sunday. I really do. I fully expect him to. And people were saying that in the clips for him in his practice tryout today, or whatever it is you want to call it, he looks fucking jacked, dude. He looks like he was literally so confident in his body that he went out in a breezy cold weather in Western New York in shorts.
Nice.
Shorts.
Yeah, it was only in the 40s today. It's like actually we had snow overnight, so that's
cool.
An idea. Yeah, it was down to like 30 degrees overnight.
I mean, it's insane, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, but no, he looks good. So it'd be interesting to get him right into game action real quick, and see what he could do, especially with Cook and of course having. Oh shit! My mind just went blank.
That's like the second time.
Oh, good.
I don't know why. It's like, what the? Latavius Murray is who I was thinking of, but no, great addition. I mean, you have Cook as RB1, Latavius Murray, and Leonard Fournette. I mean, that is a pretty good running back tandem right there.
Absolutely, without a doubt. But I ultimately think, though, I really, really like the Rasul Douglas trade because, for one, they get a 5th-round pick in the package deal as well. I know, and plus the Bills are only paying like $900,000 for the next 2 years for his contract, which is a steal. And he's 28, 29 years old, so he's still in his prime.
Yeah, I mean, that is beyond cap friendly.
Seriously. And they have possession of his contract for at least 2 years. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing to have. And there was a report saying that the Bills were interested in Jalen Johnson from the Chicago Bears, but they ultimately decided to hold on to him. But the other thing, too, was I heard the Steelers were interested in him along with the Eagles. So, Rob, why the fuck do the Steelers have interest in a corner who wanted to be paid $15 million per year?
They're desperate for help at cornerback.
I guess Levi Wallace didn't really pan out for you.
No, definitely not. Fans actually wanted him traded for Johnson.
Yeah, newsflash. I told you this was going to happen.
Yep, that you did.
I did warn you, and I said, you guys are going to hate him in Pittsburgh. He's horrible.
And now Tomlin said, yeah, we're going to start Joey Porter Jr. for the rest of the season. I'm like, oh, great. Some more running backs. They're just going to burn him for touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like ETN did.
Yeah.
Oh, that was sick what ATM did.
Oh, man.
Jesus. I mean, the trade deadline in the NFL, generally speaking, honestly, was probably one of the most wild deadlines I've seen in a while. I would say it was almost as wild as last year's. I mean, who would have thought in a million years that Chase Young would be traded to the 49ers?
Right? That was a surprising move, and I did not expect that.
As if they needed more help on defense.
No, they're fucking loaded. So it's insane to me because of how stacked they are. Like, how much stronger can the 49ers front seven get? I mean, Jesus Christ. Who the fuck do they have in the backfield? It's insane with how deep they are. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, literally. They have Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, Drake Jackson, Randy Gregory, Javon Kinlaw. Jesus Christmas, man, they are loaded.
That reminds me, like with basketball, when you're building the super teams, like the Miami Heat did for all that time.
Yeah, that's right.
When you had freaking Bosh, D Wade, Shaq, LeBron.
Yeah. Did I mention Drake Greenlaw? Did I mention Drake Greenlaw as well in the deal with the 49ers? Jesus.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's even more crazy.
Oh, and did I mention that Chase Young is also college teammates with Nick Bosa when they went to Ohio State?
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, they know each other well. And to think that the 49ers were not going to do anything else, it's like I almost have to wonder, where are they getting all this money?
The salary cap just does not exist in the NFL.
How about the Philadelphia Eagles? The Philadelphia Eagles are
they're another example. They're another example. It's like, where are they getting all this money from?
You know, I would love to know that too, because it's almost like everybody is like unhinged. Like everybody's like, oh, we can't go over here. We can't do this, can't do that. Oh, we're over the cap or we're under the cap, this and that. And the Bears, if you think about what they're doing in their situation, getting Montez Sweat, they also have $110 million in cap going into the spring. So the Bears are going to be loaded and stacked with cash going into the offseason. So with them signing Montez Sweat in a trade from Washington, that made no sense to me.
Right. And how much do you want to bet that they're not going to really use like any of that 110 million in cap? They're going to like barely touch it.
Oh no, they will. Trust me.
Maybe 20 million.
They're probably going to use at least 60 plus mil of that money, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, look how much money they gave to Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where have they gone since?
Nothing. And I'm pretty sure Edmonds is also injured.
And they fired their running backs coach finally.
Yeah, that needed to be done. And Eberfluss is probably going to be out sooner than we think. So,
Would you think he's worse than Mark Trestman?
Trestman at least can run an offense, but he just couldn't get anything else done because they couldn't draft anybody. So then on top of it, now with Eberfluss, I mean, he really hasn't done anything to make it go forward. And the Bears owner is older than shit, and their GM does nothing. So it's like you need to get a front office that actually does something in order to try to make it work on the back end.
Oh, I have a bone to pick with the Bears. First off, and that is with that Montez Sweat trade that happened yesterday, they learned absolutely nothing from 2022. They absolutely learned nothing from the Chase Claypool deal. Oh, let's just give away the 35th overall pick to the fucking Commanders because reasons. They give away second-round pick every year, knowing that they're going to miss the playoffs. What did the Steelers get? The 32nd overall pick last year, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they used that pick on Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, exactly. My point.
Which I was not a fan of, but
right. But it's not horrible.
No, not horrible.
No, not at all.
There are better quarters available at the time, but still.
Right.
Well,
we'll see how it goes.
And look at the Bears now. They are now trading the 35th pick to Washington if the season ended today. It's like, holy shit, Washington. You just got a free second-round pick from the Bears because Ryan Poles is desperate for attention. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh,
how do I make my team more irrelevant? I know. Let's just trade for Montez Sweat.
Yeah. But you want to know what's even more irrelevant? It's like, let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders because they made some news today. And of course, we already know one of their key players is pissed off because he's only getting one touch for 11 yards in a game. But the Vegas Raiders finally did something, and they made themselves really screwed up for a while because they finally fired their GM and they finally fired Josh McDaniels. And even funnier, they're on the hook for another 4 years.
And they benched Garoppolo.
The autumn part is real, folks.
And Dante Freeman is beyond pissed. And of course they said, hell no, we're not getting rid of you.
Well, my dad would always tell me they were nicknamed the autumn wind back in the 70s. I mean, and I always say, no, they're the autumn fart because that's how incompetent the Raiders are. But if you look at what the Raiders did, for one, we all knew Davante Adams was pissed. We all knew that. But I think what sealed their fate was telling every GM in the league that Davante Adams was not available for trade. So that, I think, killed their chances for any sort of credibility.
You know what it got me thinking of is like, and I actually sent this to everybody in our chat, but it got me thinking of that WWE entrance for Vince McMahon. That's no chance in hell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but also with Josh McDaniels, they also fired the offensive coordinator, Mick Lombardi. He's gone as well. And who else did GM Kevin Ziegler? He's also been fired.
Yep.
So the Raiders basically got rid of their entire offense. Oh, yeah, let's just bring in Antonio Pierce, who was the linebackers coach. Just make him a head coach. And then he, in his first press conference, his coach, he's like, I can touch the players. I can make them work. Like, dude, don't get so touchy-feely.
So awkward.
Yeah. What they should have done is hired that interim coach that they had previously to John Gruden.
Seriously, John Gruden is like a mouthpiece that's being unwashed. It just gets rotten every time. Oh, and did I mention that he also has partial ownership of the Raiders since he was coach?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's messed up. And
the Raiders are like, I don't even know. I think I compare the Raiders to illegal piracy for movies. Like, you know full well that you could get arrested for copyright, especially with your committing piracy on the web and making tens of millions of dollars for selling movies illegally. But the Raiders do it either way. The Raiders have killers, they have gamblers, they have anything you could possibly think of on the top of the book. It's insane with the Raiders. Oh, and not to mention, also, anybody and their grandmother would have told you back in March that, or February, I should say, that hiring Josh McDaniels was a bad idea. And look what's happening.
Yeah, he barely
For real.
lasted. He didn't even last 2 years.
Yikes.
I mean,
That's
he was hired
embarrassing.
in January 2021, so or something like that. So it's like basically with that, you figure, okay, make it through. Yeah, literally like a year and a half is all he lasted.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's horrendous. I mean, how do you guys think that Antonio Pierce is going to do now that he's new the interim head coach for the Raiders?
I mean, it can't be worse than Jeff Saturday, and Jeff Saturday was not all that bad when he was the interim coach for the Colts.
That's a good point.
I mean, you never know. But what they really should have done is hired that interim coach that they had prior to Gruden, in all honesty.
Probably. I mean, Rich Picasso was a really good interim coach. Hell, he got motivation from his players, and they went to the friggin' wild card and they lost to the Bengals. Sure, everybody knew they were going to lose, but at least he was able to get the players behind them and able to get to do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the Raiders
And-
are now just utter shit.
Yeah, Gruden did absolutely nothing with them. He completely changed their offensive scheme, completely changed their defensive scheme. They totally collapsed and crashed and burned. And then on top of it, then of course, when McDaniels comes in, he gets rid of guess who?
Derek Carr.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Stupidest mistake they could have ever done.
You know, the one guy Devontae Adams was excited to play with?
Yeah, and the only
Yeah.
reason why he went to the Raiders to
Yup.
begin with.
Yep.
Was to play with Derek Carr. So then, of course, Derek Carr gets shipped out. And then, of course, oh, let's bring in Jimmy G. He's done all this stuff where he's familiar with the offense. And yet Jimmy G crashed and burned every single place he's ever been.
Jimmy
He's
G
injury
fucking
prone.
sucks. I'm sorry. Jimmy G is bad. Like, he is
Yeah.
so bad.
He was
Like-
only good at San Francisco because of their system.
Exactly.
And even then, the players that he had at San Francisco, when you have a freaking stacked super team, it can cover up all the problems in the QB.
Yeah, and then he gets his ass benched for Aiden O'Donnell, a third string quarterback.
And then he sits behind Brock Purdy.
Wha- really, Raiders?
Right.
You're embarrassing your league. And
Right.
you're embarrassing your division. You're basically the New York Jets of the West. Nobody gives a fuck about you unless you make some sort of crazy over-the-top move. So, I mean, no wonder why Tom Brady pulled out of that deal with buying minority ownership.
Right.
Yeah, for real.
Right. And the thing, and then of course the QB that was the QB, Brock Purdy, knows Mr. Irrelevant. Well, he proved he was relevant pretty quickly. So
Mhm.
he's put up some good numbers in his first about season or so.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man, but that was just hilarious. I'm like, okay, Josh McDaniels, how bad can you crash and burn now? Let's see. You walked out of having the Indy job, which probably was a good thing. You totally crash and burn with Denver. You were caught, of course, with the whole corruption thing with the Broncos, so we know what happened there. You couldn't coach anywhere else. You absolutely tanked with the Raiders. So it's like, why should any team give you the chance to be an offensive coordinator again? And why should any team ever consider you for a head coach again?
No, I don't even think he deserves to get a job in the NFL, even if he was
No.
hired as a consultant.
No, he shouldn't be. He's proven he sucks. It's that straightforward. The only reason he was relevant was because Brady was that damn good.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm sorry, I can't wrap my head around this whole Raiders thing because this is just debackling. It's embarrassing. This is lolcoutum.
I was
This is
gonna
like-
Yeah.
say
Exactly.
urinating tree video one.
Yeah,
This is when you break out the bullhorn.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders, professional football's autumn fart.
Yeah. More like, yeah, we should probably call it professional football's ass crack.
God, well, there's plenty of ass crackers.
Yeah. Well, the Raiders make up like 99% of it. So it's like, at least I will say this. Mark Davis, now that you've sort of seen the light and pulled your head out of McDaniels' ass, maybe you'll actually grow a set of balls or two and maybe actually decide to do an actual proper search that actually gets you a good head coach. Or you can just keep sucking the Kool-Aid that you have in Vegas and basically just decide to keep tanking like you always do.
He's a bigger lolcow than his dad was.
Yeah, L. Davis was something. Right.
But the difference was Al Davis was a champion. He was a multiple time winner. He was able to get players to play with him in Las Vegas. Yep. And the dude was a renegade. He didn't care what anyone said about him.
Exactly. Well, yeah, look back at Al Davis. I mean, he had John Madden for a long time and one of the winningest coaches in NFL history. So
it's amazing how John Madden only won one Super Bowl, and he's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Right.
That's
but
crazy.
His win percentage was absolutely insane, though.
Yeah.
Like over like the regular seasons and titles and all that stuff.
Man, oh man, the Raiders. And to think back in the 70s, 80s, the Raiders were one of the most respected teams in the NFL. Now, Jesus, they're a train wreck.
They are. It's like, what's worse of the train wreck? The Raiders or the Bears? They're both bad.
I would probably say the Raiders because the Bears at least try to be competitive.
And then the Raiders fans are crazy.
Right.
Yeah. And they dressed up like Eagles fans for Halloween.
They wear the shoulder spikes and all that.
The face paint and all.
Yeah.
Oh God.
They are a different breed, that's for sure.
Yeah. Hell, we know the Kansas City Chiefs fans hate the Raiders fans because we heard about that enough when we were there last year.
Oh yeah. All they talked about
Bills, they're like the Bills fans, hey, we at least respect you guys.
Yeah, it's like when you're in if it was the Raiders, we really don't mind you, but you just suck. Like Chiefs fans absolutely hate them.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because remember when I asked that one guy who we were talking to at the Chiefs game last year? And
yeah, afterwards.
And I was like, "Oh, have you ever spoke to a Jets fan in your life?" And he says, "No." And I said, "Good, you don't want to." And he says, "No." And then it says, "Oh, just imagine this. They're like Raiders fans. They don't shut the fuck up when they need to. They just keep going and going and going."
And are drunk before the game starts.
Oh yeah. Actually, I think I sort of was a little bit beforehand. I know I was a few beers deep. So, I mean, actually, Bobby can remember we ended up buying a couple cases right before. So,
I remember this.
Nice.
Yeah, like right before we went to the stadium, that was like the first thing we did is like, okay, let's go in the store. We bought like the burgers and stuff. So we had our portable grill that we bought the night before. No, this was at that Price Chopper place down the street from the hotel I was at. But yeah, because you guys stayed like 10 minutes away from where I was. But no, we stopped at the store right by my hotel. But yeah, we bought the burgers there. We ended up buying, I think, like 2 cases of beer. I think I went through one of them on my own or something.
Nice.
And then I had more beer in the stadium. So I felt good. It was all good. So and at least it was beautiful, and it was beautiful football weather too. On top of it.
Well, yeah, you're supposed to have a good time when you go to a football game, but I mean, unless you go to a Vegas game, then it's not a good time because you're gambling away all your money just to watch a shitty football team.
Yeah, for sure.
At least they have hockey.
Yeah, at least our hockey team does something.
Top of the league.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, the Raiders have been around for God knows how long, and Vegas already won a cup in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
so embarrassing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening going here on out. But with that, I mean, only time will tell what the Raiders decide to do. But what we wanted to do, like, of course, if you guys want to call in 92920560099, we'll get you on the air. But let's talk a little bit about the Bills and Bengals preview because, of course, we're going to be there for it. So, and the beautiful thing is with Sunday, it is going to be high of 64, low of 49, no chance of rain, and partly cloudy for the game.
Yeah, it's funny because the weather, I kind of predicted this was going to happen for a while, is the weather was going to be in the range of the early 50s to the early 60s, late 60s at minimum. So really, this is kind of what I was hoping for, and I'm glad that it came out to be that way. But it is going to be a little chilly when we get there in the first 2 days, but at least on Friday, it's going to be around the 60s.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be looking at the real time now, high of 58, No chance of rain, partly cloudy Saturday, high 63, high 64 Sunday, partly cloudy, no chance of rain. Only days we're going to have rain when we're there is Monday, where it's a high of 70 and a 50% chance of rain in the afternoon. And then Tuesday morning when we leave, it's they say, this is weird, 34% chance of rain, and it's a high of 56. I'm like, I've never heard of a
34.
number. I've never
What?
heard of 34. It's usually
What?
30 or 40.
That is
Such
so
an in-between
random.
It's a weird number.
Like, why?
Right. So, and
That's
then,
weird.
yeah. And then that's really what it is. But the good thing is that, especially going into the overnight and tomorrow for our drive there, it's actually supposed to be mostly sunny tomorrow. So it looks like it's only going to get to around 52 degrees. So
I was expecting like low 40s, high 30s, so that's good.
yeah. I mean, either case, I'm bringing my Under Armour cold gear just so this way I can stay warm for no problems at the
Oh
stadium.
yeah, I was gonna wear my North Face jacket.
Yeah. So I've got the Under Armour base layer, and I've got like heavier socks and stuff I can wear. So I've got that. I've got hat and gloves if I need it. So that's all good. I figured, you know what, the cold gear, it does well. I mean, it's designed for stuff like this. So
Well, I do have to pick up Rob's happy ass tomorrow.
yep.
Yeah, and he's got to get up early, man. He's got to get up at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and we're gonna be on our way to Jersey, try to beat the New York traffic and get you, and then we could get on our way to Cincinnati.
Good thing
Yeah.
I'm used to waking up early.
Yeah, and I know even last day or so, I mean, I've been doing the same thing, just kind of one of the things I tend to do later nights, and then of course I usually work at 8. So just especially this morning, I was up early and just getting myself like in that little mode, so this way I'm good to go and should have no problem. So I'll be leaving here probably about 5 a.m. I should be in Erie by like 6:37 in the morning, and then gonna meet with someone in Erie for breakfast that I know who's down there, and then be on my way through Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati. So it's not a bad ride, but
No, not at all.
I should hit it all at a good time, because basically I'll be bypassing most of Cleveland, so I shouldn't get hit with like the rush hour on that. So it should be pretty good. You know, it'll be an easy ride. I've done it before.
Well,
Probably stop in Columbus for lunch or something.
well, for the three of us, we're gonna have to go through New York, obviously Long Island, New York City, New Jersey, all across Pennsylvania. That's like getting past Philadelphia, getting right near Harrisburg, and then we have to go to West Virginia, and then we have to drive all the way south from Akron to Cleveland, past Columbus, down to Cincinnati, and then right there is Kentucky.
Right. So should be pretty straightforward. And one of the things I know we'll probably throw us on a Road to 32 intro, but we'll have to get the nice little drive of the historic Roebling Bridge that opened in 1867, since that's Cincinnati's historic landmark. So do the nice little drive into the city. It's like right by the stadium. It's like, all right, there we go. But it'll be a good time. So
At least they have something to look forward to.
Yeah, right.
yeah, and there's a lot of cool stuff right where we're staying. So of course, if you're at Paycor Stadium on Sunday and you happen to recognize us, feel free to say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll gladly hang out with you guys.
Yeah, and if you want us to graph a couple things, we always can. We don't charge.
I would hope not.
Yeah, yeah, we're not like some players that like to say, "Oh yeah, I need $500 before I sign anything." No, we don't do that.
We're not big shots like that.
Exactly. We're like the sports underground.
Yep, exactly.
So
Nothing wrong with that though.
exactly. So good thing is right now Sabres and Flyers are tied at the end of 1. So it's been a pretty interesting matchup so far. Yep, they'll get started in just a few moments. But other than that, there really hasn't been a whole ton else happening in football. Although it was interesting. Had a couple major, had a couple trades that came out of it. So Detroit got better.
Yep.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean,
That they did.
my head was just fuming with blood vessels in my head when I saw all of the intensity that happened throughout the week. You know, Chase Young, and then Montez Sweat, and then of course the Russell Douglas trade, and then it was just constant back and forth.
Yep, exactly. Peoples Jones got traded, so that was an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like, holy crap.
I know. I would say here's a funny question: who's the most irrelevant in all of the NFL right now? Josh McDaniels or Matt Canada?
Um,
You know who I'm gonna say.
Right.
I would say Josh McDaniels, considering he just got fired. Matt Canada at least still has a job for the time being.
Somehow still has a job.
I have a better
Yeah.
question. Why the
The
fuck does
Rooney-
Ken Dorsey have a job?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah. Although the funny thing is, I think Dorsey's more relevant because he's actually won a couple games as the offensive coordinator. But then that's probably because the offense covered up for his screw ups.
Oh, most certainly, for sure. But who knows what's gonna be held for him in the future? I really don't know what's gonna happen from here.
Yeah, I mean it's anybody's guess. So, but hopefully the Rooneys finally decide to see the light and get rid of Matt Canada, because when you have teams across the NFL chanting to get rid of them and they're not even Steelers fans, that should tell you something.
Right? Like that should
Seriously.
send a message, but apparently not. They're too too old.
Yeah,
They don't
nepotism.
get the Yep. They're too old school. They don't get the new style.
Yep. 100%. So we'll do, since we're right at the half-hour mark, what we'll do is take a quick little break. When we come back, it's going to be hockey the rest of the way, and then we'll fill you in on a little bit of the road trip coming up. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm Tom Wujek, co-host of Buffalo After Dark. Founded by Matthew Keeler, Dishin is a Buffalo-based fashion label focusing on continuous experimentation in hockey. Their work consists of products, content, and experiences that inspire creativity. Playful curation provides energy that sparks a unique perspective and an ideology around seeing the game differently. Now you can save. Log on to justdishin.com and use promo code WUJEK at checkout. You'll save 10% on all of your purchases. That is spelled W-U-J-E-K. Dishin has built an influential following devoted to the infusion of creative expression through high-quality goods and tasteful collaboration. If you love creative products that push the boundaries, check out Dishin. Visit their website at justdishin.com. Welcome to Buffalo After Dark, everybody. It's Buffalo's original, uncensored, and unafraid sports show. Are you still up? You're watching the 150th episode of Buffalo After Dark.
All right. Welcome back to Buffalo After Dark, everybody. It is the second half of the show, and of course, it is our 150th episode. So, of course, we've got Bob, we got Rob here, two of the OGs. If you guys want to talk to us, 929-205-6099 gets you on the air. And, of course, we have the Facebook chat, and Zoom is live and well. So, if you want, feel free to jump on. You know, we're happy to talk with you. But we're going to go right into hockey. First and foremost, the real-time game update. Buffalo and Philadelphia are tied at 2 with about just a little over 17 and a half minutes left to go in the second period. So really should have been 3-2, except that one goal was waved off for offsides.
Well, the refs can suck my dick for that call.
Sweaty balls.
I feel like I say that every game I go to.
Suck people's dicks.
Yeah. I know you've seen some fun stuff in Jersey when you've gone to the Rocks. So.
Oh, yes.
Oh, dude, he gets pissed off easily. Believe me.
Right.
I've been to a handful of Devils games.
He's seen it firsthand. Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have. And he's like, "You fucking asshole, suck a dick."
And even worse, you get to watch it on that 4K high def scoreboard. That's absolutely massive.
Caught in 4K.
At least I don't have to worry
is-
about Severson.
Yeah. Well, Jersey was the first ever 4K high def scoreboard in all of hockey. So.
Oh man.
Oh man, good times. And But with that, we'll dive right into hockey. So, of course, we've got the Sabres and Flyers playing. We'll let you know if anything changes during the game. But there was some sad news just a few days ago within the hockey world. And former Pittsburgh Penguin Adam Johnson, unfortunately, had a nasty accident on the ice where he ended up getting slashed real bad by a skate to the neck. And unfortunately, he did pass away. It was basically an injury to the artery. And if anyone, I would say this, if you have not watched a video and you're squeamish, don't watch it because it's absolutely sick to watch. If any of you remember back to 1989 when Clint Malarchuk had got slashed in the neck with a skate and ended up losing all that blood and had to be carried, basically like rushed off, which I've seen that multiple times. The Adam Johnson injury was worse than that. I will just say that. And I've seen some bad stuff. And even when Zednik got his neck slashed open back in 2008, I mean, that was bad, but that was not close to how bad Malarchuk's injury was. But Adam Johnson's was way worse. From what I saw on that. So the biggest thing is it took a little while for the information to come out. And I know there was one Facebook page that had said that he had already passed, but there was no confirmation until like almost half a day later of what happened. But that being said, the Pittsburgh Penguins now, they are mandating with all of their minor league teams that all their players do have to wear the neck guards and the wrist guards going forward, and there's no exceptions on that. But I mean, for him, I mean, still young player. I mean, he wasn't even 30 yet. You know, it's just sad thing to see with someone having that happen on the ice. But at the same time, he was enjoying playing hockey, and he was doing pretty well over in the UK. He was in one of their Premier Leagues, which, you know, he was doing okay. So with that being said, you know, certainly our thoughts go out to his family and, of course, everyone that's affected by it. And from there, it's, you know, unfortunately, it's something that tends to come up every now and then. We never want to see that happen, obviously. But that is something that was in the news for a little bit earlier in the week.
It's really tragic because there's some people in certain outlets who are trying to politicize this, which is really, really shitty to do. It was a freak accident, and people think that it was on purpose, but I don't see it that way because of the fact, like, if you look back on the tape, Matt Heatgrave was being lifted off in the air, and his foot, because I think he's like 6'3", 6'4", or whatever, hits Adam Johnson in the neck and literally severely sliced his neck open. And unfortunately, you know, that was at that point, it wasn't just like a minor blood vessel. That was a major blood vessel.
Yeah,
that
the
hit,
artery.
like, the middle of the neck, like a major artery. Exactly. So it's like there was no chance in hell, because if with that kind of injury, you have at minimum 15 seconds to live until you lose a lot of blood and then you die. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I know that's the case with.
Yeah, can happen very quickly, quickly. And no, even if you pinch it off, I mean, your chances are, you better be somewhere very quick.
Yeah, it's very, very sad, unfortunately. So, and like you said, the Penguins are basically mandatory. They're mandating, you know, neck guards, and so are other leagues like the WHL and all these other junior developmental leagues. The NHL is highly considering it, which, I mean, I don't really have an issue with neck guards whatsoever because I think it's to protect the neck from injuries like that. But at the same time, when you look at it, you have to take it into account with the safety of the players. So I think it's safe to say that usually everything else is just like rubbed off. But when it comes to something like this, it's considered, now you're finally stepping up to the plate to protect the players. And they haven't done shit about it in a long time.
Yeah, well, the NHL,
unfortunately.
NHL hasn't done it in over 30 years. I mean, we look back and the first like major instance I can remember was Malarchuk back in 1989. And how long ago has that been now? I mean, that's over 30 years.
That's been like 34, 35 years old now at this point.
Something like that, yep.
Yeah. And then we go back to 2008 when that happened with Zednik here in Buffalo as well. And, you know, in his case, I mean, he was rushed off and he had emergency surgery and he was fine. But I mean, still then, you know, had that accident in 2008 and here we are now in 2023. So it's like, how much is enough, guys? You know, when it comes to that.
It's really sad.
Yeah,
honestly, I mean, I'm sending my prayers to Adam Johnson and his family, and I'm sending my prayers out to Matt Hegrave as well.
Mhm.
I mean, he has to live with it with the rest of his life, that he has to be the one that said, I may have murdered a man on the ice.
Yeah, and you know what happened, it's nobody's fault. It's all, I mean, he was going down and unfortunately skate blade ended up catching him in the neck. And I mean, I know it's not intentional or anything like that. Things like that unfortunately happen. And that's how it happened with Zednik's injury. That's how it happened with Malarchuk's injury, is just a fall where the skate blade just caught player in the wrong spot.
And there's no way you can really control that.
Yeah, you can't avoid it. So it's one of those things. It'll be interesting to see if the NHL actually does put in any mandates or does anything different. But I know the Penguins are the first team that's mandating it now for their AHL club, their ECHL, and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see how everything goes. But they're doing the wrists also, because of course you have arteries that go through the arms and all that. So it'd be interesting to see how everyone takes that. But I mean, they're being proactive about it, and they're like, enough's enough, and we're gonna do it whether they like it or not.
More proactive than the league will ever be.
Well,
you gotta remember, Bettman's running a league. He ain't gonna do shit.
No, but I do think though that they are taking some sort of action to the fact that they're trying to protect the players' bodies from bleeding out. I mean, it's mandatory at that point for some leagues, but it should be a choice if you're a veteran. But I can understand if you're a young player who's just starting to come up in the league and whatever. But it doesn't matter about the age. It's more about how it happens. I mean, it was a complete accident. Most of us knew that. But unfortunately, like I was mentioning earlier, people are trying to make this political by making it about racism, which is completely bullshit, in my opinion. It's like, how can you take a freak accident and make it into racism or politics? Like, that's what I hate about it, is that they're taking a tragedy and they're in a sport that is very violent and most people know. And yet they're trying to say, "Oh, it's racism," and this is like, no, come on, that's not even.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
No,
it was just a pure on ice accident that it could not be stopped. There was no way that it could have been prevented necessarily. Yeah. So, and I mean, unless maybe if he was wearing a neck guard, but then it depends on where he gets caught in the neck, because a neck guard doesn't cover the entire neck. So,
right, exactly.
So that's the other thing. Also, I mean, it could have gone in a bunch of different ways, but. A freak accident's a freak accident. It happens sometimes. Unfortunately, we see it. Just like in the NBA. I remember a few years ago when Gordon Hayward ended up having that freak accident where he ends up breaking his leg when he ends up going up for a dunk, and everyone could hear it in the microphone. It was like is what it sounded like, and
that was brutal.
That was brutal. That was a compound fracture too. They had to actually they had to immobilize the leg, and they had to carry him off in a stretcher. And I remember that game. That was what was it, Cleveland and the Celtics or something, I think is what it was. And I know it was in Cleveland.
So, yep.
But yeah, that was disgusting for an injury.
That sounds unfortunate.
Yeah. Or that, of course, even going back a little bit further when the Redskins, and of course the good old leg injury with good old Alex there.
Oh, with Joe Theismann too.
Yeah, Joe Theismann was another bad one.
But look, sports and accidents happen all the time. And I think people have come to terms with that. Like, this is what you signed up for. But nobody signed up to die on the ice at a young age.
Right. Yeah. And even we had the freak injury last year with DeMar Hamlin, and no one could have prevented that either. It was one of those circumstances. So, but then Alex Smith almost lost his leg when that happened, when his injury happened. And I think he went through something like 17 or 18 surgeries later. And then finally, and he was able to come back, which it was really awesome to see him come back and, get comeback player of the year and all that. So with that, but no, he went out his way. He came back, played, and ended up retiring, and, good for him, when it came to that. But in terms of Adam Johnson, though, may he rest in peace. He was playing hockey. He loved what he did. So, it's just unfortunate. It's a freak accident. No one could have prevented it.
No, not at all. May he rest in peace.
Yep, absolutely. So now with that, we'll continue into some other hockey news too. Good old McJesus. He is frustrated by the Edmonton Oilers.
You signed up for it, buddy. No one to blame but yourself.
Hey, he's the one that wanted the 8-year deal.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
if
your
he
fault.
chose to opt out, then he wouldn't have this issue. But instead, he says, I'm a franchise player. Let me get $12.5 million per year. So, for those of you who are looking for context based on what happened, there was a report from Breaking News Alberta, and they basically said, and I quote, that Connor McDavid has been extremely frustrated and upset with the direction of the Edmonton Oilers. And its sources have been saying that they've spoken to multiple players on the team, and he wished to remain anonymous. And in quote, it's end of days for Connor. Unless something changes drastically, he's not gonna wait.
Hey, Kevin Adams, give him a call and sign him.
Yeah, and with what money?
Hey, you call Brendan Bean. Tell him to do some of that cap wizardry for you, and then there you go. Bring him in.
Well, I would trade Tage Thompson in a heartbeat for Connor McDavid, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, it would be an upgrade. Hell, get rid of Olofsson too.
Tage is a great player, no question about it. But he started to really bloom late in his career. McDavid was a prodigy when he first came into the league.
Yeah.
But I just find it infatuating that a player who I thought that was going to get traded 5 years ago, because at the time I even knew the Edmonton Oilers were utter shit, and the only reason that they were even relevant is because of Connor McDavid. Otherwise, they would have nothing. Leon Draisaitl probably wouldn't be the same player he is now without Connor McDavid, and that's just straight up the truth.
Oh, yeah. He would have not developed the way he did. And Draisaitl was garbage, early on.
Yeah, I remember that. And he was just like, wait, why am I being called up at 19 years old? And then all of a sudden they get McDavid, and then it's just like,
oh, okay, this
makes a little more sense.
I'm good now.
Yeah, because he was shipped down to the AHL originally. So the fact is that Draisaitl would have been nothing without McJesus.
Although when McDavid was out, what was it, last year? I think he was still fine, but that's because he was mainly their offense.
Yeah.
When McDavid's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just funny how the plus minus differential for the team, and I'm talking about the Oilers, it's so unique in its specimen. Because if McDavid was not playing on the Edmonton Oilers, they wouldn't be anywhere near the conversation of they're heavy cup favorites. Listen, even if you have Connor McDavid, you're not winning shit. It's not like LeBron where you put him on the Lakers or the Cavaliers and he just carries them to the NBA Finals all by himself single-handedly. That's not how that works in hockey. Yeah, you have Connor McDavid, but you're basically wasting almost a decade of his career, and it does nothing in Edmonton.
Right. And now it's just think of it this way. If McDavid were to be on the Sabres, just think about some of the pairings there, because then, of course, you've got Skinner. You would have McDavid. You have Dylan Cousins. You have, of course, Zach Benson, who's been playing pretty well in his first year in the league. And then just thinking of some of the other players that we have on top of it, that would be a pretty scary little lineup.
I actually originally used to think that he would end up in Nashville in a trade. Because at the time, the Predators had all the cap of the world, and then they wasted.
Oh, yeah, they did. Yep.
Yeah. And Nashville ended up doing next to nothing.
Yeah, so beneficially, I don't know who's going to trade 3 first-round picks for Connor McDavid. I just don't see it happening. But I think the only way he gets out is if he requests to trade, or if he goes and leaves after 3 years in free agency, because he signed the contract in 2018. It was at the time.
Yeah, and he's got that no movement, I think, for the first few years or something.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
So 5 years have already been burned off of his contract. So he has to wait this year and 2 more years, and then he's a free agent. So really, Connor McDavid has a 50-50 shot to leave Edmonton at this point. And keep in mind, we all thought that Austin Matthews was going to leave Toronto in the end of the year, and then he ends up signing an extension with the Leafs. So really, anything could happen from there, honestly. So if Connor McDavid, for some reason, stays in Edmonton after his contract expires, not only is he stupid, but he's basically wasting his career. Same could happen with Connor Bedard, but with Bedard, it is way too early.
Oh yeah, you're only maybe 9 games in, or 10 at the most.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Yeah, you can't even judge Bedard. The dude's a baby. I mean,
yeah, you're only 15% of the way through the season.
Yeah, really. And then it's Bedard is he's only 18, so he's got a whole career ahead of him. McDavid, on the other hand, is a whole different story. McDavid has been in the league for almost a decade, and he's done jack shit in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's like no matter what Edmonton has done, I mean, Edmonton's drafting absolutely sucks for the most part. And the problem is, I mean, Edmonton has good offense. They do absolutely nothing on the defense.
No, they don't, and that's an issue.
And their goaltending sucks on top of it.
And Evan Bouchard is fucking garbage. Same with Darnell Nurse. He made the similar comment that Rasmus Ristolainen made a few years ago. Remember, Tom, when Risto came out and he's like, I've been here for 7 years and I haven't seen a winning environment. And then he had the audacity to sign a 5-year deal with the Flyers and done absolutely nothing.
He has like that minus 167 career rating or minus 176 rating or something.
Oh yeah, I remember
we ended up talking about that, I think, last year or the year before or the week before.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, man.
That was special.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's see what his rating is through today. That would be interesting to find out.
Right. But my point is that, you know, McDavid is wasting his prime years. So, I don't know. I just find this very interesting from not just McDavid, but Darnell Nurse as well, who basically said, you know, I've been here for a while and I haven't seen jack shit.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta know his real-time rating through right now. Career rating minus 176 for Risto, and that's as of like now.
He hasn't even played this season.
I know.
Poor bastard, and he got paid what, $5 million per year?
Something like that. It's absolutely crazy.
God damn it, Philly!
Crazy. Yeah.
Good old Philly.
Yep.
It's always shitty in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah, he could take Gritty with him.
Yeah, Gritty should not exist, but unfortunately he does.
Yeah. But yeah,
5.1 million.
Yeah. For a minus 176 career rating.
Jesus Christ.
That is brutal.
Good job, Philly.
Hey, thanks for the draft picks, Philly. We appreciate that.
Yep, and giving us Isaac Rosen for free.
It's free real estate.
Yeah, Rosen's actually developing into a good player on top of it.
Yeah. So while we're talking about Rasmus Ristolainen with the Flyers, did you guys hear about the story about the emotional support alligator story that's going around?
Oh,
this is great.
Yeah.
All right, tell everybody the story because this is absolutely hilarious.
Okay, so there's a man that lives in Philadelphia, and he has a pet alligator. And I believe the gator's name is Wally, if I remember correctly. And Wally was going to go to the NLCS for the Phillies against the Diamondbacks in, I think, like the first 2 games or something like that. And they took place at Citizens Bank Park. So he was supposed to go there. And he explained to the guards when he was at the Phillies game, he said, "This is my emotional support alligator." How anybody was able to say that freely, I don't know. How the fuck do you do it? That's a mystery.
America.
I guess the first question is, how the hell did you get a gator in the first place?
He probably bought it in Florida and probably brought it home. I guess Pennsylvania has certain laws.
You sure he didn't poach it?
No, if he poached it, it'd be dead.
No, I mean like poach it out of like wild captivity or something crazy.
I don't know. But anyways, so the guy brought Wally the gator to the NLCS. And the guards and everybody told him, you cannot bring a wild animal to the stadium, which is understandable. And the man got really upset. He was emotional. And this is pretty much the equivalent to an emotional support dog, to him at least. And he was very upset. And the Flyers got a hold of this. And they're like, you know what? Because our brotherly love is over there telling a man in a free country, no, you can't bring an alligator to a baseball game. Why don't we bring him to our games? And there's a picture of the same man going around carrying Wally to the Flyers game.
It is legal to own a pet alligator in Pennsylvania.
It is.
With no permit to top it off.
Oh my God, seriously?
Yeah.
You're telling me, Rob, that you could buy an alligator with no license in PA?
Yes.
You have got to be shitting me.
In Florida, you need a permit.
How does that even make any sense?
I know, right?
In most other southern states, it's illegal.
Bro, you know what's funny? Is I live in Nassau County on Long Island. You cannot legally own ducks or chickens in Nassau County, but at Suffolk, they're free. You don't have to have any sort of permit to buy chickens or ducks in Suffolk County.
Right. In fact, actually, take a look at the private chat, guys, because I just found a picture of Wally the Gator.
Yes.
Yeah, it says Wally the Gator, and it
Yeah.
has the emotional support animal on it. What I want to know is who came up with the right mind to say, yeah, I'm gonna make a fucking alligator my emotional support baby.
Can I make mine a raccoon?
So literally,
Oh, man.
and there's a picture of him of the man who owns Wally, picks him up like this on his back,
Yup.
like he's dead, and Wally just looks like this. He's like staring into oblivion. He's just like, where the hell am I?
Yep, this is my baby.
Yeah. I almost wonder, how did the guy not get killed by the gator yet?
You know, that's a good question. I would love to know that too.
Right?
Because usually gator's gonna like chomp on like people's like limbs or whatever, and then it's like they totally like just like break everything apart and kill them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was close.
Either he trained it really, really well, or he has some serious balls.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Right. I mean, not for nothing, and I don't mean any disrespect to the guy, but there is no way in hell I would ever own an alligator.
To be fair, I had a python when I was a little younger, in my early 20s.
That's
Well,
cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had an African ball python, and he was about maybe 2 feet, 3 feet.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He was about 5 years old when I put him up for adoption because I thought I was moving out at the time, but turns out I was proposing, but
Right.
irrelevant. So
I remember how we saw the Mengshan pit viper in St. Louis.
I remember that.
That thing was venomous.
Oh yeah, and it was green too. But
Mhm.
but seriously though, I find that extremely hard to believe. I dare him to bring Wally to an Eagles game.
Oh
And
my
watch-
god.
Oh,
I dare you to bring him to an Eagles game.
they would probably tell him go to the Eagles nest up on the 400 level and
I
enjoy your
probably-
time.
And you can see the
Probably.
judge, and you'd be like, this is a family place. And then he would just talk to Wally and be like, Wally, what do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, watch him open his mouth and like want to like chomp down on something.
And that's all you hear is,
Right. Hear like the alligator like hissing or whatever when it's like all pissed off.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around this.
Me either.
It's
It's
great.
like
I
this
love
is like
it.
the first time I've ever heard of an emotional support alligator.
Alligator.
I mean, and not for nothing, it's something where I'm like, all right, there are people legitimately that do have emotional support alligator. No, not alligators.
Alligator,
but
but pets. Yeah.
emotional support pets.
Yeah,
Okay?
like I can understand if it's like if you're an emotional support human being, mentally and physically, you're
And there are
Mhm.
people that need that legitimately.
Oh, of course.
and that's fine.
yeah, that's fine. And you know what? If you want to own an ESA, fine. That all the power to you. But
Mhm.
I think there should be a limit with what kind of animal you could honestly have. Like if you have an emotional support dog, that's one thing, or a cat or anything like that. But like any domestic animal. But who the fuck came out and said, I'm gonna go get an alligator and I'm gonna train him to be my bitch?
Right. Oh, here's a good picture I just found for you guys. So actually I'm gonna send a third one in our chat, but it's but of course there he is like walking around like somewhere. But take a look at the third one I just sent you.
Oh god, he's on a leash.
Yeah, take a look where he is.
Where the fuck is he? Is that an old folks home?
Is it a
Yeah,
senior
it
citizen
is.
center?
What the fuck is that doing there?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, you know what? Fuck
Right.
you guys. Fuck you guys. I'm gonna send you the picture of what I just found. Let me show you this whole thing.
Oh
Because-
jeez.
And again, you can actually find this picture on Bleacher Report. I swear to God, I'm not kidding.
Levi
Yeah.
looks so amused on the bench.
Yeah, if you go on
Right.
BR Open Ice on Twitter or X, you can
Mhm.
literally see the caption. It says the Phillies may have not let the emotional gator in, but the Flyers did.
Oh Jesus.
See, look at that.
You call
Yeah.
that
Fuck, there's
pizza?
only-
What is that pizza?
Right. I was gonna say the guy that's looking at him, he's like, am I really seeing this?
Am I dreaming? Is this real?
Is that a gator?
Right. Oh my god.
I dare somebody to say, I want my emotional support hyena. Yeah, how are you going to get a hyena to be an emotional support animal and bring that to a fucking Raiders game or an Eagles game?
Right.
Yeah, I want a baby giraffe.
Or, God damn it.
It's like, yep, let's bring in the baby warthog here.
God God, let's just get a pet tiger and just call it a day.
This is my
Right.
hedgehog.
Yeah.
God.
Be like that guy in Russia who has a pet puma.
Oh yeah.
See him around, it's like, well, yeah, the puma's good enough, so they actually put it through a real obedience school with dogs and everything, and apparently it passed.
I love the
Oh,
brand so
man.
much I needed the actual animal.
Yeah. Oh God. Well,
That's deceiving. That's kind of disturbing. Bring
Yeah.
a wild reptile to a sporting event.
If it was a
can't-
turtle, I'd
Yeah.
understand, but
A turtle, really, Rob?
yes,
What about a tortoise? Tortoises are fatter.
right.
that is true.
Imagine waiting in the popcorn stand at a Flyers game with a tortoise. It'd be like, fuck, let's go.
Oh man, I'm wondering how is that gator not biting his head?
Right?
And
That
he's-
must be
he's
a
holding
really well-trained gator.
That's
Or
some
did he
trippy
like
ass shit,
did he like
seriously.
tranquilize it or give him some drugs or something so he's like not being aggressive or something weird?
I know that's pretty chill. It is a pretty chill
Gator?
gator, yeah.
That's different. And we don't mean to disrespect the guy at all by what
Oh,
we're
that's
talking
just too
about. It's
hilarious.
just
No,
It's
I
just-
love the fact he
it's
has
just
it
hilarious,
actually.
dude.
It's just hilarious that somebody actually had the audacity to say this gator is my ESA.
Yeah. It's definitely different. I mean, I've seen stuff with like people having horses is support animals and other animals like that, but that is a first for a gator. So
I cannot stress this enough of how weird this is, honestly.
yeah.
I mean, listen, all the power to you, man, but my God.
Right. It is crazy. But really, the last two things we'll talk about, and besides that, the Rangers have a new alternate jersey that has been leaked.
Yeah, I am
Bleh.
not a fan of the new Rangers jersey at all. So for those of you who don't know, the Rangers came out with a leaked picture of their new alternate jersey, and you figure, well, what does it look like? It's basically got the New York Rangers shield in the middle, and it's got a combination of light blue, white, and red, and some silver in between with a royal blue or navy blue. So, and it says pretty much just bold white letters with the name and lettering and everything. I don't know. And on the inside,
Yeah.
it has like the bricks or like in the subway station, like the tiles, and it
Mhm.
says blue shirts on it in the inside of the neck collar. I don't know. I'm not very fond of this jersey, if I'm being completely honest, because some people have said that this is the Stadium Series jersey when they play the when they
Oh,
play
we
the
got a fight.
yeah,
A
like
little fight.
yeah, like I just find that hard to believe that this is considered a Stadium Series jersey because it would be a lot more funkier. I don't know. I really don't like this design at all.
It's
Right.
terrible.
Yeah, just like
Then
Rob
again,
said,
it's the
"Bleh."
Rangers, so of
Yeah.
course it's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be
Exactly.
fair, my favorite Ranger jersey of all time is the Statue of Liberty head.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's the Rangers. They always come up with really cool ideas sometimes, but there's really not much you can really do with just a red, white, and blue shield, honestly.
It's like their great playoff slogan: "No quit in NY."
Yeah. The only quit they had was getting their ass kicked by the Devils in the wild card. In
Right.
the,
Damn
quarterfinals.
right.
Right. Good job, Yoki Haru. You just sent Delorier to the box after he tried shoving you.
And Buffalo gets a power play.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Good job. Huh? Good job on that one.
Don't give
Yep.
up the shorty now.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Exactly.
That was
Yeah.
close.
Delorier was pissed going to the box. Now he's just laughing his ass off.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
The Red
there you
Wings have
go.
been a joke, honestly.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah.
But-
Good old 2 for roughing.
Yeah, speaking of roughing, life is rough in Ottawa.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Ooh.
Jesus
Ooh, they fired
Christ.
their GM.
Oh yeah, no, it gets worse, and it's actually a two-part story here. And it says there was a report that was said yesterday. Oh no, I'm sorry, Saturday. And it says the Ottawa Senators are expected to be facing punishment from the NHL on an aborted trade back in 2022 that would have sent Evgeny Dadonov from the Vegas Golden Knights to the Anaheim Ducks. Ottawa originally traded Dadonov to Vegas in July of 2021 and told the Golden Knights that Dadonov had not submitted his NTC, which is a no trade clause, of which teams he did not want to be traded to at the time, which would have allowed VJK to trade him anywhere that they please. And Freeman also reported that this was not the case, as Dadonov did submit his no trade list to Ottawa at the time. and Vegas was not made aware of it. And the Golden Knights then tried to trade Dadonov to the Ducks in 2022, and the NHL voided the trade due to Dadonov not having Anaheim on his no trade list. And the NHL is expected to announce some sort of punishment against the Ottawa Senators in the next few days, which we'll reveal in a second, and which will include a full explanation of what exactly happened and why the Golden Knights was not at fault of the aborted trade. So that's where we lead to now. So the details finally came out, and it says right here that the NHL, just 4 days later, the NHL announced that the Ottawa Senators will forfeit a first-round pick for either of their role back in the 2021 trade that would send Dadonov to the Ottawa Senators. And the Senators did not close Dadonov's no trade clause in Vegas, and the Knights traded him to Vegas, and they did not know that Dadonov had Anaheim on his no trade list, which caused the trade to be vetoed. And the league determined that the Senators were solely at fault, and they will have to forfeit a first-round pick in either 2024, 2025, or 2026, and the determination as to which pick will be forfeited will be made by the Ottawa Senators within 24 hours of the conclusion of the draft lottery of that year. And the league will have no further comment at the time, and the pick is simply forfeited, and there will be one less player taken in the first round of whatever draft is chosen.
It sucks to be them.
So, okay. I had to just digest all this. First off, the NHL has an issue with no suspension given to the Blackhawks for assault and, molestation or whatever that was. And yet, when the Senators fuck up a trade, we have to punish them with a first-round pick.
Oh, but we can't hurt Chicago. They're a original 6 team. Oh, and we're going to let them win the lottery, too, so they can get Bedard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also, just on the icing on the fucking cake is Pierre Dorian, quote unquote, resigned as GM of the Ottawa Senators today.
Yeah, and now Chiarelli might be taking over.
God bless you, Senators fans.
I really hope he does get that job.
Exactly. Amen.
Somebody please send the Senators an exorcist. It's so fucking pathetic with how the Senators are being run right now. Like, it's almost like as if the ghost of Eugene Melnyk came back to haunt them.
Exactly.
Like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to command you to fuck up this trade.
Oh my God.
Happy Halloween, you fucks.
Shazam.
Yeah, the Senators need an exorcism at this point.
Oh, and the Senators owner, Michael Outlander, is pretty much pissed off at the NHL about all that. So the Senators went through a lot this year alone. So they had the whole Evgeny Dadonov thing going on, and then they had the whole Shane Pinto thing going on, being suspended for 41 fucking games for illegal gambling.
And it wasn't even hockey games.
Right. Yeah, but Batman comes out and is like, it's still dishonorable to the sport.
And Michael Adlauer is like, who gives a shit? It's not our sport that he's betting games on.
Right. It's like you can go into NBA, everyone's point shaving and betting on everything.
And I don't know how.
Yeah, go into Major League Baseball, everyone's betting on that. Everyone bets in the NFL.
Yep.
Yeah, I could tell you firsthand because Shane Pinto is from Long Island and he's from my neck of the woods. I could tell you for a fact that there are a ton of sports bettors here. And to tell you the truth, we have a habit of just betting in the middle of the fucking day. That's just what they do. And Shane Pinto probably thought, well, I'm not going to get caught anyway. And then all of a sudden, 41 games for a guy for illegal gambling. It's like, Jesus Christ, what are you, the NFL now? Are you going to crack down on players for illegal gambling? Jesus Christ.
Seriously.
It's let them be. It's not the sport. Who cares?
Right.
I mean, I can understand if you're an NFL player and you're betting on NFL games. That's different. But if you're betting on something that has nothing to do with the NHL, why are you punishing them?
Yeah, exactly. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Yeah, but as of now, though, Steve Staios is the interim GM. Yeah.
I seriously. In fact, here you go. Well, I don't know if you can see it or not.
If they get Peter Chiarelli, I am going to laugh my ass off.
I think we'll fall out of our chairs.
Yeah, there we go. Go FanDuel Sportsbook right on my phone. Yeah, actually, I have won some money off of it, so
that's good.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
God
Like some of the
damn
games
it.
I bet on last week, I made my money back. So it's just every so often I'll maybe throw like a few bucks down on it. But
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
I just don't understand
And-
why they're so infatuated with this whole idea with suspending a player that basically was just minding his own business.
Yep. And public service announcement: if you do gamble on any of the sports books, know your limit and stay within it. We are not responsible if you blow your entire bank account on any sports book whatsoever.
Well, that's why I don't spend money on gambling, specifically betting on sports. I just never had that in me.
I
But-
gamble in other ways.
Right, right. Every so often I will throw a little bit on a game or something, but a lot of times what I'll do is if I know it's starting to go downhill, I'll just cash out right away and just minimize any loss.
Yeah, I don't really bet on anything except for like the Super Bowl, but that's about it, honestly. I don't bet on anything else. But are the Senators the biggest clown show in the NHL this year? I seriously want to know this. So you have a player who's being suspended for gambling that has nothing to do with hockey. Then you have a guy who just resigned because he was completely in fault about the whole Evgeny Dadonov trade. And on top of all that, you don't even have a future home yet.
Where are they
This
in the
is a
standings
joke.
again?
They're definitely up there.
It's almost as if Eugene Melnick never left.
Yeah. The curse of Melnick lives on.
God. You know how they say legends never really die? Well, I guess it's safe to say Eugene Melnick is unfortunately a legend in Ottawa. And what I mean by that is like he's a legend in the shittiest way possible.
At least they're at 500 currently.
Yeah, true story. Hey, just like the good old curse of that Bambino.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then how the Red Sox fan tried to bury the jersey in the new Yankee Stadium when it was being built, and then he got and he had to go to court over that. It was like he got brought up on some charges.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the construction worker who was out of state, who was a Boston Red Sox fan and hated the Yankees, but yet was working on the Yankees project.
Because that makes sense.
Well, that's the Red Sox Yankees rivalry for you.
Yep.
I mean, the Red Sox have been cursed for years. Ever since they traded Babe Ruth to the Yankees all those years, like a century ago, the Red Sox have been cursed since then.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, they're in absolute shit streak right now. So they have like no players, no money, and no manager.
God, what a shit show!
Yeah, it is. It is. But
It's rough.
But I do want to say though, is I do wonder about the moves that the Senators have been making recently. About like almost as if the ghost of Eugene Melnick has come back to possess Pierre Dorian and say, "I will fire you today."
Ooh, happy Halloween.
Yeah, really.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like, why can't a ghost come back and fire Montreal's manager?
Oh God!
Why can't someone fire Canada? And
or
our misery,
Vancouver,
please.
or Vancouver's manager.
Yep.
Why doesn't Dan Rooney just come back from the grave and just haunt the shit out of Art Rooney II and be like, "Fire Mike Tomlin,
Bring back Big Ben."
Oh, bring back Gino Ojic over to Vancouver Canucks and let him play.
Yep.
That's still a shame seeing how he went out, man. That sucked.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. Like I said, this whole thing with the Sens is just. I love watching the Senators crash and burn, but this is just pity.
Yeah, at this point.
It's very true. Very
and
true.
yet they always advertise themselves of being how they're so good, and yet they have a guy on the team that was charged with assault, and that's Eric Brandstrom. Yeah, good job on him.
Well, they did have Danny Heatley for a while after that whole incident.
Oh, you mean with the whole Dan Snyder thing?
Yeah. Yep.
The funny thing is, I actually looked back on that trade, and the reason he said that he wanted to make the deal was he didn't want to stay in Atlanta because of the fact he didn't want to be reminded of the tragedy. So he said, if I get it traded out of another city, I might be able to move forward in my life with it. And that's exactly what happened. And then, of course, Danny Heatley got traded, and then Marian Hossa went the opposite direction.
Yep.
And then the Ottawa Senators, they were one of the best teams in the NHL for at least 3 years at that time. It's just funny how life works.
Very true. Very true. Well, I was going to say, with that being said, I know we went a few minutes over so far. We're actually it's interesting. We're about an hour and 12 in. So I was
Oh, wow,
gonna
it
say,
didn't feel like it.
yeah, it really didn't. But I was gonna say, let's take let's take a little bit of time. Let's talk about the upcoming Road to 32. So as many of you know, we're on the road tomorrow. So we are going to be arriving in Cincinnati. So we're going to be there through early next week, and lots of stuff we're going to be seeing, lots of cool things. So, of course, we're going to get settled in tomorrow. Then, of course, Friday, we're going to do some stuff early in the day in Cincinnati. I know I'm meeting with someone. I know these guys are going to do some stuff for a little bit in the afternoon. Saturday, of course, we're going to be at the Hall of Fame. The Football Hall of Fame. We're going to actually take a little bit of a day trip out to Cleveland and visit the Rock Hall, which I don't know if you guys have ever been there. It'll be my first time in since 2010 for going there. It's a pretty cool place, and we'll probably spend a few hours there. A few hours at the Football Hall of Fame. We'll kind of take it easy a little bit the rest of the day. Saturday, Sunday, we already have our dinner reservations right near Paycor Stadium, and it is game day. So it's going to be all of what we were looking for.
You forgot one.
Well, I already talked
The zoo?
No, the fucking
Buffalo distillery. Yeah.
You forgot about that?
Forgot about what?
The Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Well, I didn't get to that yet.
Oh,
okay, yeah, fair enough.
That's Monday.
To be honest,
Sunday.
To be honest, I forgot our
Bengals.
schedule.
Because you said the Bengals game and then you cut it from there. And I'm just like, wait, what? He left something out.
No, I said it's game day. And then of course, that Monday we are going down to further deeper into Kentucky. We are going to go to Buffalo Trace Distillery. So, and then Tuesday will be our morning where we all pack up and head back. So it'll be a good time. Of course, Rob, good luck riding with Bobby because he did gas me out in the car in St. Louis. So hopefully you don't have to suffer that either way, to or from.
Dude,
And then,
suck a dick.
Oh man,
I will tell you, if he gets McDaniels, smack him in the back of his head, because that's exactly how it happened the last time. But no,
I think I farted in your car twice. I farted in Toronto and I farted in St. Louis.
Actually, you were fine in Toronto. St. Louis, you gassed me out at least like 4 or 5 different times over the 4 hours. And you did it before you even said roll down the window, which I wanted to punch you in your fucking face for that.
This is gonna be fun.
So I'm just preparing you, Rob. You might have to deal with some nasty ass on the way to and from.
All good.
Yeah, Rob, I apologize in advance, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can always, worst case, the Ohio River will be about 500 feet behind us when we're at the hotel. So you can always put them over the levee wall if you need to.
Oh, jeez. No, it's not going to be that dramatic.
You want to know something? You want to know how
just
man
messing with
invented
you,
the
man.
windmill? By using the power of my farts. That's literally how he did it.
Oh, man.
It'd be like Wario and Smash Bros.
Wario.
Or you hear in the back of the car.
Yeah, really.
Oh,
Oh, God. Oh, man.
we're such children.
But no, it'll be a good time. So Cincinnati, we're gonna enjoy it. It's our first time really staying in the city, so we're looking forward to it. We're staying on the Kentucky side, obviously, this time around, but no, we're looking forward to it. Now, I've driven through Cincinnati before. I know there's a lot of good stuff nearby, and downtown is pretty nice now with how it's grown a lot in the last I would say 20 something years, ever since the old Riverfront Stadium was torn down, and of course you have the new Paycor Stadium, you have Great American Ballpark now, so it'll be a good time.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm just excited to be together as a little quote unquote family. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, technically, we are family at this point. I mean, not by blood, of course, but like, friend.
No, I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a fun time. Looking forward to it, and I mean, it's gonna be. I know we'll kind of do some of our separate things while we're down there, also. But at the same time, we're all gonna enjoy the game, and game time weather is supposed to be good, so it'll be a little bit cooler, which is fine. But it's supposed to be partly cloudy and like 40 something degrees, so It'll be good, and I think that we're gonna have a pretty good sized Bills Mafia there.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this fucking idiot on the bottom of the screen is like, I'm just gonna wear a Steelers jersey.
Oh God! Do you have a death wish in that stadium? They'd throw you off the 300 deck down that damn escalator.
Yes.
Rob, what
I'm
color
going
is
to
your
embrace
jersey?
it.
Right.
Rob, what color is your jersey?
Black. I don't own any away Steelers jerseys, shockingly.
Oh, watch, wear the Steelers jersey in Cleveland and see how well they take it. It's like the two cities that hate Pittsburgh the most are Cleveland and Cincinnati.
I'm like, do I go with my Roethlisberger jersey or
Philly.
Heath Miller?
Right.
I don't
I
know.
gotta go Heath Miller.
You
Right.
didn't pack your Steelers jersey yet?
No, not yet. I know you think that'd be the first thing, but
Oh man. Or watch, actually take him to Philly and watch him wear a Steelers jersey in that stadium.
I mean,
And
knowing,
take
oh,
him
I
to
wear
Eagles.
Devils in Philly.
I mean, knowing,
Oh.
don't you fucking dare, Rob.
Oh no, I didn't mean when we go. No.
I was gonna say, don't you fucking dare. We're not seeing the Devils play the Flyers.
I'm not that crazy.
Well, I will tell you this though.
Oh,
I
man.
will tell you this. I am 98% sure I am going to be wearing a Bills jersey when I go to the Eagles game in a few weeks.
Oh, good.
98% sure. Why are you not 100% sure?
Because the other 2% I might die.
Hey, at least you're dying wearing a Bills jersey. At least you're
That's
going
like
down
me.
with honor.
Yeah, that's like me with the Steelers jersey.
Well, I mean, I gotta have at least some sort of dignity.
Right.
True.
Going down with the ship.
But listen, I said it before on the show that I was the only one that was willing to say that, hey, at least I went into the belly of the beast in Philadelphia.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not for long, because Rob's gonna be coming with me in March.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Trainer's gonna be your big ass bodyguard.
Well, he's an Eagles fan, so I'm not really that worried about it. God damn, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I can't fathom that at all. Like, we have this fuck not wearing a Steelers jersey to a Bengals game, and they're not even playing the Steelers.
Yep.
You
I
crazy,
represent Steeler Nation.
you
What?
crazy bitch.
We're
Rob, I
all
love
over
you,
the
buddy.
place.
Oh,
Jesus, you're a
good time.
fucking whack on that, dude.
I can't wait.
You're gonna get us killed.
Oh,
Nah,
I know.
he'll just get himself killed.
I'm
Why? If
embracing it
that's
too.
the case, we're gonna just throw you into the crowd and have fun. You can literally swim
Right.
with Bengals fans in that case.
Right. I think the Bengals fans somewhat respect the Bills fans, but they absolutely hate the Steeler
Mhm.
fans.
Yep.
Somebody's gonna question like, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Right. Right. Well, it's like when we were in Kansas City, it's like they respect the Bills fans, but they absolutely hate the Raiders fans more than anything.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, yeah, at least you guys are respectful. The Raiders fans absolutely suck.
God damn.
Didn't that guy go into like a 15-minute speech about how the Raiders suck when we were there?
He was also talking about dignity and respect.
Yeah. Yeah. And it all came back how it was bad with the Raiders fans.
I'm just throwing it out there, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, at least we know one thing. Raiders fans are universally hated no matter where they go.
True. This
I don't
is
hate
true.
the Steelers though.
No, I don't hate the Steelers either.
Honestly, I don't hate the Bengals.
But you hate Cleveland more.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this: are you gonna wear a Steelers jersey when you go to the Hall of Fame?
Oh yeah.
There
I mean,
you
there's
go.
nothing wrong with that though.
Well,
Right.
it's open to everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's fair to say, but it is part of Ohio. It's part of in the Brown. It's basically Browns territory if you think about it.
True.
Well, I mean, the Rock Hall is right next door to the Brown Stadium, so
There you go.
literally, that'd be funny. Watch you go into the team store, and it's like, what the hell are you doing here?
Dude, get me up.
But I will say this: I cannot go into First Energy Stadium because of the fact that the Browns are not playing, and I'm only allowed to go in there if there's a game going on. And the Browns, they do not have that going for us.
Nope.
Although it would be fun if we can get a stadium tour in Cleveland, but I doubt it.
I was
Yeah.
hoping the Cincinnati MLS team was playing, but unfortunately they'll be in Jersey this weekend.
Yeah, the other thing that's funny is I had this thought in my head too with the Blue Jackets because I was really hoping when we were scheduling or when we were planning for this trip, I was telling Tom for a long period of time that I'm really hoping that the Columbus Blue Jackets play a game at home in Columbus when we're away in Cincinnati. And I told them we only have one shot at this, and I'm hoping that Columbus doesn't blow it. And sure enough, they blew it, and they're going to be on the road against the Capitals. So that's that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're only about 2 months too late because you were just down in DC.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, I was also there during the time of preseason, so I couldn't really.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
and you were down there during the remnants of that hurricane, also.
Yeah, I also could have went to a Nationals game, but Britt just outright refuses to go.
Ah,
it would have been cheap too.
It would have been, but she would have just left me by myself, and she's like, "No, not doing that. Sorry."
Right.
But
no, I got you.
I don't know. I mean, I'm excited about this trip because then we get to all spend time together and hang out and, try Cincinnati style chili and look around the Queen City at Findlay Market and see what they got going on in Cincinnati. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited about this trip.
Me too.
Same here. It'll be a fun time. It's going to be nice and, lots of stuff we can do during our time down there. And of course, games should be very interesting. So definitely be interesting to see if our, two new players, Fournette and Douglas, actually take the field, which I'm thinking they probably will.
Well, I said this earlier in the show, and I think that Douglas will play. I just think that he'll get his first rep at practice tomorrow. Did you guys see the Bills' injury report that came out today?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, like 5 starters did not practice.
And then it said Russell Douglas just got here.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, you only just acquired him at not even 24 hours ago.
So it's like, relax, he's fine.
Right, he's in game shape. It's all good.
Yeah, speaking of game shape, Leonard Fournette looks really good, honestly.
He does.
Yeah,
he really does.
He looks really good.
I
fully expect him to play on Sunday. If they elevate him to the roster, I will genuinely be surprised. I will genuinely be surprised if they don't elevate him. But because there's too much, I think there's way too much hype surrounding Leonard Fournette not to activate him.
Yeah, definitely activate him. Definitely activate Douglas. Kyer Elam, if they're going to shut him down, just shut him down because he's absolute dog shit at this point.
Yeah, at that point, you kind of have to make a decision.
Right. Douglas is a major upgrade on that.
Without a doubt, honestly.
So, but that being said, our real-time game update is still tied at 2 with about 17.5 in the third period.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So that being said, so it's kind of funny. So actually what we thought was just going to be about an hour-long show, we've actually gone an hour and 25 minutes. So with that, it's kind of funny. We usually try to go an hour, but sometimes we go a little bit longer. But that being said, stick with us as we go throughout the week. You'll see some stuff on our pages. Of course, Road to 32, we'll have a full episode once that's all wrapped up with the trip, and we'll get some good footage in there. Obviously, we'll have some game time footage in there too. If you do happen to see us out and about and want to say hi or want a graph or anything like that, feel free.
Absolutely.
We don't hurt anybody, so that's that. If you want to all throw us a couple bucks, by all means, but you never have to. So be like
obligated.
Be like the Mets dog. It's like, hey, I don't come cheap, but yet you can take pictures with us. Yeah. Remember that? It's like I took the picture of the Mets dog, but it's like I was a douche and didn't give any money.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, twice. Although
3-2 Buffalo.
Sweet. Who got the goal?
Yep, Owen Power just scored.
Nice.
All right, good stuff.
There we go.
There we go. Well, keep on that momentum because Buffalo's had 2 good wins, Ottawa, and then they totally destroyed Colorado.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that was a nice goal right there. Nice
Ricky
goal.
was not amused.
No, that was a shutout. On top of it. Good job, UPL. So
absolutely. But generally speaking, I can't stress this enough. We've been planning this trip for 6 months, and we're on the verge of going starting tomorrow morning. I cannot believe it, honestly. And this is also our 150th anniversary, or 150th episode, not anniversary. Sorry, got the words botched up.
And, we've been around for 150 years. Where the hell did that happen?
We're like tortoises.
Yeah, we're vampires.
Either that, or we get either that, or we're like artificially extended by science or something weird.
We drank from the fountain of youth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, just ask Aaron Rodgers. He's already throwing on that bad ACL.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers can just fuck off.
I would love to know how he's already walking and throwing on doing dropbacks on that bad ACL.
I'll have what he's having.
Yeah, seriously. I'm like, holy crap.
I
When
can't.
they were showing that on Sunday, I'm like, how is this dude like not in crushes, and how is he like dropping back already?
Insane.
Like, did he like find something in science that's never been heard of that he's like already back to normal in like 7 weeks? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, really. Like, no, that's merely impossible.
Yeah. That's crazy. Unless you found some new ayahuasca strain that's like taking all the pain away or something.
Even Joe Douglas is swimming in this delusion. He's like, well, we expect him to come back soon. I'm like, no, the fuck you don't. You literally said
an ACL is a 1-year injury.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I think they're just desperate at this point. They know they can't play without Zach Wilson.
Well, Zach Wilson just sucks, but
well, that's kind of the point, but who knows, man. But generally speaking, though, I think it's safe to say that this is obviously our last episode until we leave for Cincinnati. And for those of you who are listening at home, we can't thank you guys enough for all the support. And yeah, we're very thankful of you guys. And without you, we wouldn't be having Buffalo After Dark. And it's all because of you guys. We have enough support to keep pushing through.
Yeah, absolutely. So been a lot of fun so far, just being a part of it. And here we are in our 4th season, 150 episodes. Unfortunately, Samuelson just went in the box for high sticking, but no, it's been a good time. We enjoy doing this for everybody, and it's nice to have everybody on and the follows, and we're doing getting more people every day watching the YouTube page, being with us on Spotify as well, which that's actually been doing really well for us. So we appreciate it. And on top of that, of course, we have our new page up. So in case everyone has wondered, we have the true fans with us now, and not the people that have been completely inactive. So feel free to reach out to us on the page, interact with us. We've got the fan chat going, so it's all about you guys. We keep doing it because we enjoy it. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that being said, it's time for all of us to get on out of here, because we're going to need to actually rest up, and we all have a long drive in the morning. So what we'll do, keep it here. We will talk to you live in Cincinnati, but in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you later this week.
Have a great night.
Goodbye, everyone. See you in
Hey, guys.
Cincinnati.
See you in Cincy.